Welcome back, everyone. This week we're going to be giving you guys an update on the stuff that has started to arrive already for the under $100 mixing station. See if hopefully we can keep it under budget. This week I also wanted to show you guys how I mix water, how I do a water change in the tank, and really how simple it is. Only thing I didn't account for is it's been super cold here in California. It's actually been raining. It was raining last night, and the temperature in the storage tanks, well, the ambient temperature itself have dropped quite a bit. So when I hooked up the heater overnight, I thought it would be able to warm it up. Woke up this morning and it still has at least another half a day to go. So that for sure isn't going to be happening. You can hear it mixing and I'd love to show you guys, but like I said, the water is still a little bit too cold. I want to say it's about 71 degrees. So it's probably going to take about another 5 to 6 hours to bring it up to temperature. Good thing for you guys, this tank is going to have plenty of water change in the future. So I'm very sure we're going to be able to cover that in a future update. So as I mentioned already, there's been quite a bit of stuff already arriving from Amazon. And this is in regards to, I believe, last Friday's video. I asked you guys if you guys would like to see a budget mixing station. Obviously, a lot of people like my mixing station, but let's be honest, it's not the cheapest. Like I said, I have probably close to $1,500 invested in it. And not only that, even if you got the money, sometimes you just don't have the space. The wife is not gonna allow you to take up that much real estate in your garage or wherever you think of putting it. And that's exactly where that question came about. So I asked you guys if you guys would like to see under $100 or as close as I can get it to under $100 mixing station that's compact, that you can almost fit it even in your apartment. So with that, there is a few questions I am going to have for you guys as far as helping me make it the way that is usable for the majority of you. So I will say, with all the votes we've had, it is something I'm obviously going to be doing. I've ordered almost all the parts itself, other than the plumbing and the unions, the plumbing and the elbows. We're starting out, I already had the float valve arrive. There's a few different float valves. There's some that are adjustable, some that aren't. For this setup, I really don't think we're gonna need one adjustable, especially if we're using the 5-gallon bucket, because all you really do is just put it as high as possible. Now guys, this video isn't gonna be for the building of it. This is kind of just to brainstorm with you guys. Once I do the actual build, I'm gonna have all the partlets, all the links, the sizes of wood, everything to make the stand, everything you could ever ask for. So again, this video is just really to pick your guys' brains on see what you guys would like. But I figured since we're doing it, why not show you what arrived. Next, this is everything that's come in from Amazon. One of the uniseals is missing. One's inside is actually a total of 3. But starting off, we do have uniseals. For you guys that don't know what a uniseal is, if ever you need to make a hole in a container or a bucket, obviously, sometimes those buckets especially are round, so you can't put a bulkhead. A bulkhead is not going to attach to a round surface. It needs to be flat. The O-rings themselves or whatever it has to keep water out, so they're able to compress and obviously not leak. So that's where unions come in. Union, what it is essentially is an O-ring. You can see it's quite squishy. That goes through that round surface. You're able to fit the PVC through it. As it comes through it, it expands it and compresses it against the wall of whatever you have it installed. So this allows you to run PVC pretty much to any container or anything you could even think of. Now here's where I kind of had a dilemma. These unions I got on Amazon, don't quote me on it, but I think they were $5 or $7. And they're true union. So what true union means, they're ball valves. So you can find ball valves in Home Depot, you can find them at Lowe's. And generally the ball valves don't have these end pieces, which these end pieces are called unions. Which means once you glue them in place, they're not coming off unless you cut them off, re-glue them, and have to redo some of your plumbing. Not only that, but the ones from Home Depot and like Lowe's and hardware stores, they're not the best quality. Yes, they will work for a few months, but if you're looking for something, you know, past a year, especially with salt going through it, the unions themselves, and I'm sure some of you can relate, become impossible to turn over time. That's where I kind of made a decision for all of you, and I said, you know what, instead of skimping out and building this mixing station dirt cheap that's kind of unusable after 6 months, why don't we put a little bit of money where the money needs to be, such as these true unions. So I did buy these, and again, these do have unions on each side, so you can totally remove them. The ball valve itself is adjustable. That's what this is here. So you can totally loosen and tighten it, which is going to either compress or loosen not only the seal it has within the body itself, but also over time they wear. Or even if they don't wear, sometimes if it's too tight out of the box, you can totally loosen it here, and then that's good to go. If you ever do need to do maintenance on the mixing station, these unions make it very, very easy to obviously be able to service them. So like I said, I figured spending a few, $2-3 more per ball valve is only going to help us long term. So as of now, I believe we're only going to need 3 of them. So I think it was about 20 something bucks for these, the 3 Uniseals. I think total it was close to about $32 for everything. One of the other dilemmas I had in making this is really what size to use. I want to say the most common size bucket everybody has in reefing is probably the 5-gallon bucket. Not only that, you can find it anywhere. Even if you don't have it, you can run to Home Depot, run to Lowe's. They're like $3 per bucket. So it's really cost effective. But now, obviously I probably wouldn't make it on this 2-gallon one. So I'm considering, would you guys want to see it in a 5-gallon bucket? Or would you rather upgrade, spend a little bit more money, and go ahead and make it with a 10-gallon brute container you see here? Honestly, no matter how I make it, whether I do that size or this size here, you're gonna be able to either upsize or downsize the PVC lengths and sizes, as well as the size of the stand, to make it work. So I don't know. I don't think it matters either or, because you're gonna be able to implement this to that and that to this. But I'm kind of leaning more towards a 5-gallon. Why? Because for you guys that have space constraints, it's gonna be a lot easier to put this in a little closet or a small area than obviously put that one. Luckily that one's not too much bigger, but I think for people that have size constraints, I think this size will be a little bit more convenient. Now that we have size out of the way, the next thing to talk about is gonna be the pump and the way we mix the water. So here I really need your guys' feedback. I can make it both ways. One way is going to be cheaper and maybe a little bit easier as far as plumbing's concerned, but I mean, honestly, it won't be that much because I'll be able to walk you guys through it. So we have 2 options, and I'm going to explain to you guys the budget option first, and I'm going to use this bucket here as an example because it's bigger. So ignore that pump. It's, I mean, unless you want to run a super oversized pump for this setup, by all means, go ahead and do it. But that's clearly really, I mean, a pump that size can easily run a 40-50 gallon mixing station. It's only there for reference. So as you guys know, once we get the RODI water from the RODI bucket into it, let's assume this is a salt mixing bucket, you have to mix it, right? Salt isn't gonna mix itself within the water. You need to have some sort of flow in there, some water movement to get the water circulating. Now, if we were really on a budget, we could use an air stone, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. That's a little bit too budget friendly if you ask me, and it takes a little bit too long. The other 3 options we're gonna have, number 1 is a pump. Now for a pump, if you guys are aware, it can be run external or internal. The reason you would wanna run it external, such as I have here, is if you're trying to pump water out through a hose and out a hose reel, what have you. For this video, I want to keep it budget, so I'm kind of leaning away from that because most people, wherever they set up this mixing station, it probably won't be that close to the tank, so it's going to have to travel some distance. There is where bigger pumps start coming into play because they obviously need the head pressure to push the water however far they're going. So with that being said, I'm thinking of just using a pump, obviously not this one, something a lot smaller, inside the bucket that mixes the water. When you're done mixing it, you open up a valve like this and it's fed out by gravity. Another option that I actually think may be a little bit more affordable, which is why I'm leaning to it, and I'm sure you guys have it laying around, is using a wave maker. So I probably wouldn't recommend you to use this wave maker. They're, you know, really nice wave makers and they're quite a bit of money. I doubt you'd want to use it for a mixing station. I mean, if you want to, more power to you, but just here for an example. Using a wave maker that you put, or you always leave inside the bucket, mixes the water, and again, you use gravity to get the water out. I'd like to hear from you guys what you guys would like to see as far as these 3 options. So I think that's going to be it, guys, with the asking questions on this video. I just really thought this was an important topic because, again, I really want to make something that you guys are going to use, because again, I already have my mixing station, so for me it doesn't really matter how I really make it. I really want to cater it to all you viewers. So the more votes we get for one option, another option, one size, another size, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because again, I want to cater this so it's something you can implement, you can use, and really start enjoying a mixing station. It's going to make your water changes that much easier. That's going to be it today. I really thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. And remember to leave your comment, cast your vote for size, cast your vote for internal, external, wave maker, pump, whatever you'd like. Let me know down in the comment box below. I thank each and every one of you very much for watching. As always, happy reefing.